Oh my god, there are so many fish in this hot spring. It feels like I'm being eaten by piranhas. Yikes! Hey, Wonderhussy here. Apologies if these sunglasses make me look like J. Robert Oppenheimer. But even if they do, that's kind of fitting because I'm up here in New Mexico, right outside the Los Alamos National Laboratory, where Oppenheimer and his cronies developed the atomic bomb. But aside from a bunch of crazy men developing nuclear bombs, there's also a ton of astounding natural scenery out here, and several natural hot springs. And you know I love me a nice soak in a natural hot spring. Okay, so the first hot spring we're gonna check out is called Macaulay Hot Springs, and it's about a 2-mile hike through what looks to be a beautiful forest along this Forest Service Trail number 137. Now there's a sign here near the trailhead that lets you know that this is day use only and no overnight camping. There's a picnic area down the way that charges $5, but you know my sister and I are broke ass hippies and we don't want to spend $5 to pay to park. So we went down the highway just not even 1/8 of a mile, and there's this free parking area here. So we parked the car and now we're gonna hike the 2 miles down to the spring. Look, there's the people who keep an eye on the day use area. Make sure everybody's paying their $5. Psych, not today. Boy, we barely started this hike and I love it already. Just had to cross over this beautiful creek, and this forest is absolutely amazing. Look how beautiful this forest trail is. I mean, I love the desert, as you know, but sure is nice to be out here in this lush green forest, especially right now, the middle of summer. It's July 12th today, and it is hot in the desert. That's why I had to get away and go to the Rocky Mountains. And this is the Rocky Mountains. I mean, it's the southernmost tip of them. We're barely in them, but we're in them. The only downside I can see to these springs so far is that they seem to be very popular. There was a lot of people at the trailhead, including a family with kids, so I'm not sure I'll be able to soak nude, as is my preference. When I'm at natural hot springs, I much rather soak naked, because then I don't have to deal with a wet, cold, soggy bikini when I get out. I mean, even though it is mid-July and it's not a cold day, I'd just still rather not have to deal with it. But hopefully, fingers crossed, there's also a waterfall trail out here that's really popular. So hopefully the family with the kids is just going to check out the waterfall and not the hot springs. But just in case, I packed my bikini in my backpack along with the rest of the gear I typically bring when I'm on a day hike to a hot spring. I always gotta have a pair of flip-flops, a bikini just in case, a rain shell, because here in New Mexico the weather can change on a dime, my cozy bathrobe to put on after I get out of the hot spring, some microfiber towels. This company called Country Bound sent me these to try them out, and they're really good. They dry out real quick and they pack up small. Then I always bring a Ziploc bag full of toilet paper and a second Ziploc bag to carry out my used toilet paper so that I don't litter. Then I got my hydration pack with some water, a book of matches. These are from Cactus Pete's up in Jackpot, Nevada. Some Band-Aids and a space blanket. You know, the basics, just in case. There was that sign down there that said something about don't camp within 500 feet of the springs. So I'm guessing people might backpack their gear into these springs for an overnight trip. Which would be really cool to do sometime. But we don't have that much time, so we're just gonna go here for a little day soak. Check it out. Man, I really hope there's no kids at this hot spring so I can skinny dip, because I got so hot hiking up this trail, I already had to change into my bikini, and I don't want to wear it much longer. Damn it! Just got to the hot spring and there's a bunch of people here. They're all wearing bathing suits, and I think they have kids with them. Now, just to be clear, I have no problem with kids. I actually really like kids. I almost raised my little brother and sister. They're like 12 years younger than me. So I love kids and I'm very good with them. But most people don't appreciate you getting naked in front of them. That's my beef. I mean, unless they're those really progressive kind of hippie children. So I guess I'll be wearing my swimsuit. Wah, wah, wah. There was about 12 boys under the age of 14 soaking in the what I assume to be the best hot pool up the creek there. So we had to come down here. But the way this hot spring works is there's kind of like this little creek that runs down, I guess from the source, and then it comes down through this ravine. From the pool up top, it comes down to this middle pool, and then it goes on down the hillside. I think there's another pool down there that we'll go check out in a minute. But there's no little boys soaking here, so I figured this would be a safe place for me to soak naked. Now you can see the water in this spring is very clear. It's got a sandy bottom, so there's no muck like at some other hot springs. There is a lot of algae floating in it, which you might be grossed out by, but for me it's not really an issue. And then I'm not sure if you can see, but there's all these little tadpoles or baby fish swimming around in the water too, which doesn't really gross me out. They just kind of tickle my toes. Okay, but before I drop trow and go for a soak here, let's follow the creek downhill a little bit and see if there's any other pools we could soak in. Okay, so following the creek all the way down the hillside, there's one more pool down here, and it is a beaut. It's super deep and very clear, but it's got a lot of plants growing in it. Whoa, look at this creepy spider standing guard over the hot springs. He's like the hot springs guardian. None shall pass. Oh wait, where'd he go? Did he fall in the water? Some guardian you are, spider. But you know what that means? That means the spider fell into the water and is floating around somewhere in the pool. I'm not sure I want to go for a soak in this one now. Okay, that little spider is certainly not the most pressing concern. And there's this huge one hanging on the side of the rock there. Yikes, they ought to change the name of this to Spider Springs. Okay, well, since I hiked all the way down here anyways, I might as well take a dip just to check it out. Spiders or no spiders. Remember, I ain't scared of nothing. Okay, yikes. I got into this pond, and not only are there a ton of fish swimming all around me, and I can feel them slithering around my thighs, there's also about a foot of muck and grasses that when I stepped into it, I kind of sunk down, and it was kind of unsettling and kind of swamp monstery. Yikes. I don't think I want to soak in this pool for very long. I'm getting out. Dang it! The bottom pond is full of fish and spiders. The top pond is full of 14-year-old boys. I guess that makes this middle pond the Goldilocks pool, and the one that I'm gonna have to drop trow for and go for a nice soak. What? Oh my God, my sister said that all the 14-year-old boys just left the upper spring and it's empty. It's all ours. Let's go. Yay. This is the upper pool. And then there's this kind of little rocked off section where all those 14-year-old boys were. And now it's completely deserted. And it looks like a nice one. Let's test it out and see how warm the water is. I mean, it was just full of 14-year-old boys, so who knows what's in this water. Spiders and fish might actually be preferable. Oh yeah, it's nice and warm. Maybe a degree or two warmer than the Goldilocks pond. Just like the Goldilocks pool, this one also has very clear water. I mean, look, that's a reflection of the sky there, the puffy white clouds. And it's got a nice gravelly sandy bottom with a few little minnows nibbling around your toes and ankles, but nowhere near as bad as in that bottom pond. And then there's also some grasses and algae in here, but not as bad as in the other two ponds. So I guess that's why people like this one. Let's dip all the way in. Ooh, it feels really good. I like natural hot springs, not because I really believe they have any kind of weird healing or curative powers. I just like them because they're so pleasant and relaxing, and it's a good way to meet people. I've met the most interesting people hanging out at natural hot springs. And it's kind of fun to be a hot spring hunter. It kind of gives you something to look for when you're traveling around. You know, it gives you an itinerary to follow. Follow the springs. Spring hunter. It's a nice little soak. I can imagine that it might be kind of mosquito-y here around dusk. But other than that, it seems like a very pleasant place to spend an evening. So relaxing. Sound of that waterfall behind me. This amazing crystal clear water. By the way, sorry for the camera work on these things. I mean, I'm the only one making these videos. I have to do the sound, I have to be the camera person, I have to be the on-air talent, and I do all the editing, so cut me some slack. I'm just shooting this with my cell phone. But you can see, despite my shoddy camera work, how clear and beautiful the water is here. Just gonna relax for a few minutes. Enjoy a little soak before we hike back out to the next adventure.